doesn't celebrate St. Anybody's Day. And so I would say that they don't celebrate St. Valentine's Day. But I don't see a problem with celebrating love. And as you know, when I try to define what I love about Judaism or religion or being a mensch, a decent human being, it has to do with making sure that you take care of yourself. So tonight I'm going to say love yourself, love each other, and love this planet. Take care of the world we're in. So I see no problem with trying to do those things at all. The pressure and the chocolate and that part I could do without. My sister sent me and Mom a Valentine's picture that she said Happy Valentine's Day, but it was a woman hugging her mirror image. Sometimes that's who you've got. So I'm going to tell you some stories tonight about love. I called this Shabbat, We Love Shabbat, and because I think we love Shabbat. Look, we're the ones who love Shabbat. But first I want to do something else. So tonight I'm wearing a new necklace that I bought at the Biennial, and it has a little heart in the middle of it, and around it it has Eshet Chayil Miyimsa V'rachok Mipnini Michra, which is a woman of valor who can find her price is far above rubies. I have a new translation I wanted to share with you, but first I wanted to tell you, and I didn't know that you'd be here tonight, but when I moved to Shreveport, my best friends were Harry and Sue Muslow. And Sarita is 6 months older than Max, and Seema is 6 months younger than Max. Max, as you may or may not recall, he was 1.5 when we moved here. By the time he hit 2, he was at Agudath Achim's Mother's Day Out program. And I'm not going to tell you that Dr. Milton Scharf said that he got all of his ear infections from the snotty-nosed kids over there. I'm not going to say that, but he got ear infections, and so he had a lot of sound substitutions. So he used to say, let's go Garita, Gima, and Gu, which meant let's go see Sarita, Seema, and Sue, because he couldn't say his S's. So every once in a while, last time I saw Seema, she said, I told her the story about that, and she said, that's where it comes from? Because people still hear Garita and Gima and Gu in their heads. It was just adorable. But on Shabbat evenings, Harry would always sing, he'd sing a woman of valor to his wife. And so before we do our blessings for our candles and things, I was going to tell you this story because I thought it was a lovely thing. It is a tradition that husbands all over the world say this to their wives. It's a Jewish tradition. You bless your children on Shabbat. So my ex said, no woman deserves that. So today I'm wearing my Eshet Chayil because I deserve it. But I will, after we do our blessings, I was going to read a new translation for that, and I want you all to be able to hug yourself. So I wanted to tell you one other thing about chocolates that are outside for you, and that is that when you open them, they have sayings in them, and I didn't know that, but I had to taste one before so that I didn't give you, terrible chocolates. And the one that I got, which I think is so appropriate for Shabbat, and especially for our 2020 year, the one that I got before said, inhale the future and exhale the past. Let it go. I love that idea. Inhale the future, exhale the past. So we didn't decide which service we're going to do. Anybody want to vote? We usually do 3 because Adam likes 3. It's the one he's most familiar with. We usually do 3 because Sydney likes 3 because it's the shortest one. Anybody want to do anything other than 3? We do one sometimes, but the problem with one, I would love to do one. I started doing one. The problem with one is that it's the most traditional. It has a lot of introductory psalms, which are traditional on Shabbat. And if you let the rabbi do number 1, I get stuck on the preliminary service on Saturday morning, on Sunday mornings, because the preliminary service, whatever service you're doing, whether it's a weekday service or if it's a Shabbat service, it's inspirational things to get you in the mood to be spiritual. And I love that section of the service. And we sit and we dwell on it, and we think about all the ways that we feel blessed and we feel inspired, and I sometimes never get past there. So if you come on Saturday mornings, you will get that almost all the time. You will get just that. So we can try. We'll do some of those. We can maybe try that. I don't mind that. Last week, people enjoyed having a slightly different kind of service. And this week, I procured some really cool services coming up over the next few weeks, too, that we'll talk about a little bit later. But I don't mind doing a special service again tonight. It's just us anyway, right? So we will begin our service, though, with taking a deep breath and using the inspiration from my chocolate. Let's inhale the future, take it in, and exhale the past. Take 2 deep breaths. Let it go. And try it again. Now, I'm not going to lie. There was something lovely about that kind of inspiration. But we're still breathing. Every time we inhale, we're still taking in some of our past. We're not letting go of our past just because we're exhaling past. I just want to let you know that. That's what I'm thinking. But I love the idea of the inspiration coming in. I told you before that there's this concept, there was a Central American language that no longer exists, that believes that the future is what's behind you, and the past is what's in front of you. It's what you see. You can't see the future, but you can see the past. And that's what I thought of when I thought of that breathing exercise. But we will turn to page 65, and I would love to ask Elliot and Sharon to please come up and help us with the blessings. Page 65. And please rise.
As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoto v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hallow us with your mitzvot and command us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Let there be joy.
Let there be light.
Let there be peace.
Let there be Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue with the Kiddush found on page 165. We take the cup. I'm hoping you're doing it in Hebrew. If you need the translation, it's on 166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Horei pari hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzevanu v'shabbat kadsho v'avov ratzon hichilanu Zikaron lemase v'reishis ki hu yom tehila lamikra kodesh zecher letzias mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta v'yasanu kidashta Mikahamim Veshabas Kashecha Ve'ava Uvratson Hichatanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Shabbos.
Amen. L'chaim. That's right. What's the story behind the book?
Huh?
What's that book? What's the story of the book? Wait, I need to hear it.
Well, this book was printed in 1917.
1917. Are we going to have to do it here so people can read?
And on occasion I use it. It was printed by none other than the Hebrew Publishing Company.
Yay.
And there is no English in it, but is the entire procedures for all holidays and anything else that would come into call. Used to belong to a very fine gentleman, Henry Zoskus, and I asked Lonnie, his son, that I had found it in their home, and he said no. He said he's got plenty of books. I said, okay, but it's very easy to follow. It has a list,
A nice table of contents.
everything
Everything you
that
need.
you would want to know.
But it's so compact. We
Right.
need a big magnifying glass for that. That's beautiful. It's written by someone named Hyman. The Hyman family just walked in too. Thank you for sharing that. So you can sit down, but first, wait, you have to say Shabbat Shalom to someone you came in with, someone you didn't come in with. Make sure everybody gets a Shabbat Shalom. But do you love each other? I want you to say something nice to each other too. If you have to move around, you got to move around, but say something nice to each other. Make everybody feel loved. Everybody. We got people, I don't know, if I have to walk around and do this myself, I will. I am so glad that you came. Thank you for coming. I'm so glad that you come. I like that you're wearing your Black History Month shirt. It's good to see your gang. Hello, I'm glad you're here. Hello, everybody. Thank you. I love that. That was kind of cool. Hyman family, I'm glad you're here. Get ready for the halftime. It's nice to see you. Hello, how are you? All right. See, I don't think that everybody got love when we said that. And now what I'd like you to do is think about yourself or someone you love, and it could be ideally, potentially your wife or your mom or a woman that you love. And like I said, it could be yourself. And I'm going to do the modern translation. A mother of generations, a woman of valor. She is precious in the gifts that she has given to our family. Her children have found trust and truth in these gifts. I'm going to let it sink in, okay? We follow in patterns that she taught. She is robed in strength and dignity. She smiles at the future. She opens her mouth with wisdom. And the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. We benefit and learn from her wisdom. May she always be credited for the fruit of her labor and her achievements, and may she live on in glory. I like that translation. So then I'm going to tell you something else about the translation. I took that translation from the New Rabbi's Manual, and it may or may not surprise you to know that it was taken from the section that's supposed to be read at a funeral. Because there are a lot of people we love who aren't with us anymore. And I think that sometimes if we're thinking about a day of love, I think sometimes those are the people that we're reflecting on as well when it comes to love. So I'm grateful for the people who are alive, who embody those things, and I'm grateful for the people who I have known and loved, who were here before us and taught us those things. And then we turn to page 66, and we use our imagination, and we welcome the Sabbath bride, which is another lovey-dovey thing we do. And there's a cool thing about Lecha Dodi as we welcome the bride. We get to be the groom, and we get to welcome the bride of Shabbat, which is a very scary thought. Scary doesn't mean bad. You know that in Hebrew the word for awe is the same word as fear. And I love watching the groom's face when the bride comes walking in that he hadn't seen yet. And there's this magnificent face. So that's us right now. We are the groom, and we are expecting our bride to come in. And it's really cool. And you know that in some congregations, they'll open up the back doors, and they'll turn around and they'll face, when they get to the last verse, they'll stand up, just like you would when the bride comes in, and you stand up and you expect it. And it's always cool because you'll wait till you see who the straggler is. No, it's always somebody comes in late. And it's always fun to see who gets to be the Sabbath bride for the day. But we are going to do this one on page 66. Lecha dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shem ultiferet l'tila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nikabela. Let's go to the last verse. You can look for her. You don't have to stand up, but here she comes. Bohi v'shalom ahateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha uvetzola, tochemu ne'am sigula. Bohi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nikabela. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, and of the impulse within us for justice and mercy, we pray that this hour of worship may be one of vision and inspiration. Help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Who enter this sanctuary in search and in need. All who bring to this place the offering of their hearts. May our worship here lead us to fulfill our words and intentions with acts of kindness, peace, and love. Amen. We have come together to strengthen our bonds with our people, Israel. Like Jews of generations past, we celebrate the grandeur of creation. Like Jews of every age, we echo our people's ancient call for justice. Our celebration is a sharing of memory and hope. We are Jews, but each of us is unique. We stand apart and alone, with differing feelings and insights. And yet we are not entirely alone and separate, for we are children of one people and one heritage. Our celebration unites many separate selves into a single chorus, and we are one in search of life's meaning. All of us know despair and exaltation. All bear burdens. All have moments of weakness and times of strength. All sing songs of sorrow and love. May our celebration bring us strength along our way. In this circle of hope, in the presence of the sacred, may the heart come to know itself and its best, finding a fresh impulse to love the good. May our celebration lead us to work for the good, and may this Shabbat give strength to us and to our people Israel. Can you hear it? Hine ma tov u'manaim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manaim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manaim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manaim, shevet achim gam yachad. So it talks about how good and how pleasant it is when brothers live together. But brothers means brothers and sisters. They're not leaving us sisters out of that one. Many are the generations of Israel, and in every age we have sought the living God through Sabbath rest and worship. This time and place hold the power to increase our joy in the eternal. O God, even as we seek you in the sanctuary, help us to know that your glory fills all space. Make us understand that you are with us at all times, if we but open our minds to you. We feel the presence of your Spirit in our homes and on our ways. We see the beauty of your creation in mountain, sea, and sky, and in the human form. We hear you in the silence of our own hearts, speaking the truths the heart knows. May we be your witness to the world, your messenger to all the earth. May we show forth your image within us, the divine spark that makes us human. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala, ba'agala, u'vizman kariv, v'miru, amen. Yeheshme Rabba mevarach, le'alam ul'almei almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpahar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shemeh dekudisha, richu, leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma, v'meru, amen. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Let's have the ladies read the first part on this and the guys read the second part on this, please. As day departs, as the dark of night descends, we lift our eyes to the heavens. In awe and wonder, our hearts cry out. Eternal God, how majestic is your name in all the earth. A vast universe, who can know it? What mind can fathom it? We look out to the endless suns and ask, what are we? What are our dreams and our hopes? What are we that you are mindful of us? And what are we that you should care for us? And yet, within us abides a measure of your Spirit. You are remote, but oh, how near, ordering the stars and the vast solitudes of the dark, yet whispering in our minds that you are closer than the air we breathe. For you have made us little less than divine, and crowned us with glory and honor. With love and awe we turn to you, and in the dark of evening we seek the light of your presence. One and only God, you have made each of us unique. You stopped reading with me. How about this side read with me for the first part, and this side read with me for the second part? One and only God, you have made each of us unique and formed us to be united in one family of life. Be with us, Eternal One, as we seek to unite our lives with your power and your love. We proclaim now your oneness and our own hope for unity. We acclaim your creative power in the universe and in ourselves, the law that binds world to world and heart to heart. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malechuto, Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated unless you want to help me lead this one. So this next one is one that surprised me. You've heard me do this before. This is an actual quote from Torah. You can tell because of the fact that the way it spells God is Yud He Vav He, and the trope marks are in it. But the thing that amazes me about this is that I used to think that Valentine's Day and the heart-shaped things where you love something with all your heart, I used to think that came from Hallmark. But I now know that it comes from Torah, because it says, you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart. So somehow love comes from here. And I think that you feel that sometimes when someone you love or something you love comes in you think about them or you see them, and all of a sudden you feel it right here. I think that happens. So would you sing that to us in Hebrew, please? Where are we? Go. Oh, here. Ve'ahavta את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Next paragraph. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. Would you lead us in the English, please?
You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God.
Way better with a microphone in front of you. Thank you. That was awesome. Now we know where love comes from having precious little ones around that we love to hear reading, getting better and better all the time. We're going to try this again, only this time this group is going to go first and this group is going to respond. I love when you participate like that. Thank you for this. We say, in a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness, a world waiting still to be redeemed, give us, O source of good, the courage to say, there is one God in heaven and on earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and your love. From Egypt, the house of bondage, we were delivered. At Sinai, amid peals of thunder, we bound ourselves to your purpose. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, we survived oppression and exile, time and again overcoming the forces that would have destroyed us. Our failings are many, our faults are great, yet it has been our glory to bear witness to our God and to keep alive in dark ages the vision of a world redeemed. May this vision never fade. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we sing with one accord, as Moses, Miriam, and Israel sang at the shores of the sea. And you know, last week, this was the Torah portion. These words came from the Torah portion. This week, where it says, we bound ourselves to your purpose, where we were standing at Sinai, that's what we're reading about. This week, we're going to be standing at Sinai tomorrow. I hope I see you. That's my commercial. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Malechutecha ra'uvanecha bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe zelianu vehameru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Page 74, it says, V'ne'emar, and it has been said, the Eternal One delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal God, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up to find our hearts waiting to do your will. We praise you, Guardian of Israel, whose love gives light to all the world. O God of Israel, may our worship on this day help us to grow in loyalty to our covenant with you and to the way of life it demands, the way of gentleness and justice, the path of truth and of peace. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asah Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz, vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Please rise for the tefillah, which begins on page 76. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, v'Koneh HaKol, v'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Your might, O God, is everlasting. Help us to use our strength for good. You are the source of life and blessing. Help us to choose life for ourselves and our children. You are the support of the falling. Help us to lift up the fallen. You are the author of freedom. Help us to free the captive. You are our hope in death as in life. Help us to keep faith with those who sleep in the dust. Your might, O God, is everlasting. Help us to use our strength for good. You are Kadosh, holy. Your name is Kadosh, holy. And those who strive to be Kedoshim, holy, declare your glory day by day. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We praise you, Eternal One, the Holy God. You may be seated. Did you bring your percussion instruments today? Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomere, 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 Shabbat, kore oneg Shabbat, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, קורא עונג שבת. מקדשי מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישבעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, קורא עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת, חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, קורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת, זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, קורא עונג שבת. God of Israel, may our worship on this Sabbath bring us near to all that is high and holy. May it bind the generations in bonds of love and sharing, and unite us with our people in common hope and faith. And through Sabbath rest and worship, may we learn to find fulfillment and joy in the vision of peace for all the world. You are with us in our prayer, in our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Eternal source of good, we give thanks for the numberless gifts and blessings that fill our days, for life itself and its endless variety, for all that sustains body and mind, for love and friendship, for the delights of the senses, and for the excellence of your Torah, which deepens our life and enriches our days. Teach us, O God of wonders, to work for a just and compassionate society, where all may share your gifts in the joy of freedom. We read together below the Hebrew. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country, that it may always be a stronghold of peace, and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within its homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship among the inhabitants of all lands, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. We praise you, O God, the source of peace. We take a moment for silent prayer. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו figured out what was wrong with the guitar. We now turn to the inside back cover as our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill or recuperating. If you have someone for whom you would like us to be saying prayers, I invite you to call them out. For all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts, we pray together. O God, in our hearts, we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. We add, Mishaberach Avotenu ve'imotenu. May the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we've entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom and protecting us. In this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they've been called to serve. Give them courage to succeed and strength to persevere. May they return home safely. And let us say, Amen. I wanted to tell you two stories about love. One is one that I don't know if you know that has to do with, these are Jewish stories of love. Jewish-ish stories. The first one is about the first two humans in the world, when God created the world. The first guy's name was Ha'adam, which wasn't exactly a name, it was just what he was, the human. And the first woman's name was Lilith. And so Lilith was so you remember in the first creation story, it says male and female, God created them. And then the next thing you know, there's a second story. And in the second story, there wasn't a woman. So in the Talmud, they tell this story about how when the first creation happened, there was a man and woman that were created together. And the woman's name was Lilith, which has to do with night. And the first story that I heard about Lilith was that they got along pretty well, except when Adam realized that she was taller than he was. And it used to drive him crazy that she was taller than him. They would talk to each other, and he would just keep getting distracted by the fact that she was taller than him. So he tried some ways of dealing with this. He dug a hole in the ground so she could stand in the hole so that she'd be shorter than him when they would talk. But when they would lie down or sit down, she was still taller, and it would drive him crazy again. And he tried a couple of other strategies, and the punchline of this is that in the end, he talked to God, and he somehow convinced God to kick her out of the garden. And so she is why her being out of the garden explains an awful lot of things that I don't want to go into much in detail right now about why there could have been other people for Adam and Eve's children to have children with and things like that. We'll talk about that another time. This is the story about love. So I just wanted to say that sometimes love relationships end, and it's not always your fault. I'm just going to say that, okay? The next pairing, the Adam and Chava, they get together and they seem to have a very decent relationship, and they get to stick together. He says she is now one that is flesh of my flesh and bone of my own bone, and he liked her better because she was a little bit shorter than he was. So that's the first story about love that I wanted to share with you that I wasn't sure you were aware of. The next one that I wanted to tell you about is fast forward a really long time. This is not in the Torah. We do learn about it in the Talmud. You may or may not have heard of Rabbi Akiva. Have you heard of Rabbi Akiva? So I don't know what you remember about Rabbi Akiva, but he has a really cool story, and I think, at least the version I'm going to tell you tonight, is one that's tied to love a lot. So first, he is a shepherd. He's not necessarily the smartest guy in the batch, but he is a very good-hearted, decent, Menshevik guy. And he's a shepherd for a very rich man. And the rich man had a daughter who noticed him. They were kind to each other, and they fell in love, and they secretly got married under one condition. She said, "You're a shepherd, you've never had any education in your life. You need to learn. You need to study. You need to study Torah and Judaism, and then I think we can be very happy together because I know you've got it in you." And at first he said, "I can't do that. I'm not smart enough. I can't learn." And one day he was walking around and he saw a stream. And in the stream there was a spot where there was a drip that was coming down, and below the drip was a rock. It was a really heavy rock. But in the rock he noticed a hole. And he noticed that this very soft water was able to put a hole into this very hard rock. And he said, "You know what? If something soft like water can put a hole into a rock, if it just keeps trying and trying and trying, then maybe I can learn." And so he decides he's going to learn, and so they get married, and he leaves for 12 years to go study. They just got married, and now he leaves for 12 years. And he comes back, and he's very happy. What? I told you he wasn't the smartest guy in the batch. But sometimes love is like that. They still loved each other. He goes away for 12 years, and he comes back, and he happens to overhear a conversation. As he is coming back in his neighborhood, his wife is not at home. She's out and about in the marketplace, and he walks by, and she doesn't realize that he's walking past, but he sees her, and he kind of wants to surprise her, and he hides in the shadows, and he overhears her having a conversation with a guy, and this older man says, "You know, you're treated like you're a widow or something. He's not paying any attention to you. He's always gone. Why are you still putting up with him?" And she said, "I love him, and I would put up with him even if he stayed for another 12 years. And he said, "Another 12 years? Yes, please." And he left. And he went away for another 12 years and kept studying. This time, and that's love. Yeah, so I'm saying, not everybody would put up with this, but that was love in this story. And so it's a different kind of love than maybe what you'd get, and that's part of what I wanted to tell you. And so he comes back this time after 24 years, and she's pretty old by now. She looks a little more like this than she did when she was young. And he comes back, and this time he has established himself so well that he has 24,000 students with him. I tried to imagine what Shreveport would be like if 24,000 young Jewish guys came to Shreveport. I don't know. It would freak me out a little bit, but we'd figure this out. It must have been put a burden on wherever they were. And so 24,000 young men come, and this is a story about how he loved these guys. He had been training them. They followed him back to where he was. And he comes back, and there's a story about how she sees him, and she goes to run, but she's not so, light on her feet as she was, and she trips in front of him. And this man sees them and says, "Hey, you get out of his way," thinking that she's just an old lady that fell and wanting to, like a fan with a rock star. And he said to his students and to the man, he said, "Everything I have is hers, and everything you have is hers." In other words, we owe everything to her. And he went back and he loved her, and they stayed together. And one of his favorite quotes was about love your neighbor as yourself, as you can imagine. And he loved these young guys. So one of the other stories about him, though, is that there was an illness that went around shortly after they made it there, and all 24,000 of these young men died. And he watched them all die. And the reason why we are in semi-mourning from Passover until Shavuot, the period of the Omer, the reason why some people don't shave, and there are all of these things that there are customs in traditional Judaism that we don't do, is because we're still sad about the loss of all of the people who died, including 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva. And so some people would have said, my heart is broken. I can't go on. I lost all my students. But he didn't give up. He was sad, but he didn't give up. And he found 5 new students, and he started teaching them. And then you may know that he had a kind of a horrific ending to his life because he continued to teach Torah. He loved Torah so much. And the Romans were there, and they killed him for teaching Torah. But the story about Rabbi Akiva is a love story, everything about him. And I don't know about everything, but the parts that I told you at least are love stories. And so I want you to remember some of those things. And they may or may not be the same kind of love that we have or that we're looking for or that we ever anticipated. But there are many ways of finding love. And maybe one of the things that we have coming up is a place for people to find love. Yes, we love our president. Mr. President.
Shabbat Shalom. If you excuse the way I'm dressed, this is the first time I've been to Shabbat services that I did not have a sport coat or suit, but Jerry is on the board of trustees for the Greedy Williams Foundation. For those of you that might not know Greedy Williams, he's a former LSU, current Cleveland Brown NFL football player, and they had an event that Jerry was in charge of today at Shriners Hospital, and I helped a little bit and thought I'd be done earlier, but we were not. So it was either come like this or not come at all.
We're so glad that you came. And if you're not dressed for Purim, either we're never going to forgive you or we've already forgiven you. I haven't figured it out yet because you're already in costume.
And I look out, and last week that we probably had as many in the choir that we have here. So that was such a wonderful service. Thank you, Rabbi. Anyways, thank you to Sharon and Elliot for the blessings this evening. And the B'nai Zion has been asked to help sort food for this Monday, February 17th at the food bank from 9 to 11:30 a.m. And then on Thursday, February 20th through Wednesday, February 26th, there will be limited office hours. Karen is helping to make the New Orleans Mardi Gras successful. Please look for her in the crew of Iris. The last Friday of February, there will be a special Shabbat. Rabbi's good friend, Bishop Larry Brandon, will be our guest speaker. That was Rabbi I was talking about earlier. And his choir will sing during Shabbat evening service. Rabbi Jana will also host the Owning Shabbat that night in honor of her 60th birthday. So it will be special. The Van Tine Lecture Series at Centenary will have 2 presentations, Tuesday, March 3rd. Dr. Valerie Hebert will show photographs as part of her lectures. Please be advised some pictures will depict scenes that are difficult to see. So viewer discretion is advised. Details are online in the bulletin. Purim Shabbat is only 3 weeks away. It will be Friday, March 6th. There will be a musical Purim Spiel. We will also honor everyone with birthdays and anniversaries in March, and during the Oneg Shabbat, to honor the memory of Joe and Nan Levy. Their family will be available and visit and share stories, so we look forward to seeing them as well. The Jewish Federation Purim Carnival will then be Sunday, March 8th from 11 to 1:30. Please join us for fun and games. Donations were made to B'nai Zion for pulpit flowers in loving memory of Janice Kent by Sidney Kent and family, in loving memory of Bessie Murov by Carolyn Murov, and in loving memory of Jean Van Oz from Herman Van Oz and family.
Thank you. I saw how popular it was to have a choir last week. And so the 28th is the end of the last weekend of Black History Month. So we're going to have an African-American choir come and pastor come. And Bishop Brandon was Curtis Joseph's choice for his successor for the Holocaust Remembrance Service. So if you don't already know him, it would be really helpful for you to come and get to know him for that evening as well. He and his wife took Hebrew with me a bunch of years ago. I like to say there are many people in this town that I taught them all the Hebrew they've ever forgotten. And so he's one of those. Adam is one, and he's one. At this point, I would like to invite everyone who is under the age of 13 to please come help me open the ark. Everyone else is turning to page 148 and is getting ready to rise as the ark is open. 148. Did you notice how many times the prayer book mentioned love? That was good, right? We picked it. Yay. Aleinu lishabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, v'lo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu koreim umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. And on the facing page we're going to sing. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. And when the ark is closed, you may be seated. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. What do you love? I love having our youngest congregants come and help us during the service. I love that. We continue on page 151. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. I wanted to let you know that this week, did you know Rabbi David Packman? Rabbi David Packman passed away. He was a rabbi in Oklahoma, and he was the rabbi for Monroe for many years. He would come, I think, once a month. When I was at Green Family Camp, he was a rabbi there. He has three children. One of them was Jana, who was only 2 years old. And anyway, he passed away this week, and I'm sorry about that loss. I have very fond memories of him working with the kids at camp, and I know that they appreciated him very much in Monroe until he retired. And this past week, we lost two people in our military. Army Sergeant First Class Javier J. Guterres was 28 years old. He was from Jacksonville, North Carolina. He died serving Operation Freedom Sentinel. And Army Specialist Brandon Time Kimball was 21 years old. He was from Central Point, Oregon, and he was serving during Operation Freedom Sentinel as well. We lost another police officer this week, We lost Deputy Sheriff Donna Richardson, and her name is spelled that it looks like it's Below, B-E-L-O-W. It's a hyphenated name, and I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, and I apologize if I pronounce it incorrectly. She served with the DeSoto Parish Sheriff's Office for 13 months, and had previously served as a probation officer with the Louisiana Department of Corrections. And so we have lost 17 police officers already this year. And we had reported last week that we had lost 3 canine officers, but one of them was killed on December 31st. So we were counting him. We've lost 2 canine officers in 2020. We've lost 10 firefighters, including Fire Chief Manuel Galindo Jr. He was 71. He was from Fort Hancock, Texas. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. And I'm going to give you a moment, if you'd like, of silent prayer or meditation to think about the people that you've lost. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. And the list that I have includes H. Joe Levy, Ike Muslow, Rachel Greenberg, Rosenthal Selber. And Jerry has lost 2 uncles. I've got Mickey Shirley, and we call him Skippy Shirley. Adam isn't here with us tonight because he's attending his grandmother's funeral. Their names and of the people who died in the past month, the names and the obituaries, I'm trying to keep them in the email that we send so that if people hadn't heard or don't have the details, they can have that. And we remember the congregants' parents who died within the past year. We remember Claire Anthony and Lucy Branis, Isabel Posner, Carol Ginsberg, Johnny Engelbert, and Dean Thomas Pratt. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we're observing yahrzeits this week include Samuel Abramson, Ruth Lieber Anisman, Donna Aronstein, Jacob Odenheimer, John B. Cheatham III, Ray Marks Gilbert, Janice Kent, you say Janice, Sydney? Janice, thank you. Janice Kent, I'm sorry. Francis Reuben Kreisman, Dr. Howard Marcus, Pauline Morris, Louis Matloff, Bessie Murov, Rebecca Murov, Bertha Davis Ox, Doris Muslow Pallett, Emmanuel Phelps, Lillian Pearlstein Selber, Alfred Selber, Fred Simon, Meyer Nathan Stadium, Doris Garden Udis, Jean Van Oss, Emily L. Weil. In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise as together we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 154. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chaye chon u'v'yomei chon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. I'm going to ask that if you're under 13, you come back again and help us out with this blessing, because there's another thing we love about Shabbat, and it is challah. What? It's beautiful. Come on up, and I will give you a microphone, and you can sing the challah song. Challah at us. Ready? Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avon. They're so good at this. I will take the plate. I'll take the plate. You take the bread. I'll take the plate. You take the bread. Please rise for the closing benediction. Oh, thank you. I love challah. There's more challah out there, by the way. I don't think there is anything that I love more than being here with you. Thank you for sharing your Shabbat with me. Thank you for sharing your evening of love with me. Kind of what Sydney said before. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted up to you, no matter how short or tall you are. And may God grant you peace and lots of love and chocolate. Shabbat shalom. Ein keloheinu, ein kadonenu, ein kemalkeinu, ein kamoshienu,